follow me, or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy, or would you stay with me now till the morning light?
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going? How's it going?
We're excited.
Hello.
We're nervous. We're pumped.
Yes. To have Jennifer and Julie on, very excited.
Do you guys want to introduce yourself and say hello? And
My
Julie,
name's
you
Julie.
go ahead.
Okay. My name's Julie. Hi.
Hey, and I'm Jen. I'm Jen, and I'm here because of let's see. I'm in the anti-MLM space because of Julie. Really. And I just want to, I'll just take a second and just throw that out there. I'm so thankful to just be sitting here next to you, Julie. And I'm excited to do this. A little nervous and awkward too.
Let's all show some support for Julie and Jennifer. Everyone say hi. Everyone welcome them on. This is I was talking to Erin about it earlier too. I was like, so would you pretty much say this is like a horror story live? You know what I mean? You know how they oftentimes on anti-MLM YouTube videos, they'll read anti-MLM horror stories, except now in this one, we're going to have y'all talk about what you choose to talk about live. And you've been gracious enough to hop on this live with us and share your story with people who will be watching, but you won't know. Likely people will be watching this, and they probably need to hear what you're going to say. So I'm very excited to see what comes out of this. Very excited.
I think it's also important to mention that these two beautiful humans, also, Julie Jo, you look amazing too, by the way. I didn't want to leave you out of that.
Thank you.
Beautiful. These two beautiful humans, Jen and Julie, were a part of Ray Higdon's RankMakers, and they had two very different roles, if you will, or titles, positions. I don't know exactly how you want to word that. Jen was, she was a coach. So she was actually coaching some people that were members of RankMakers. And then Julie was a member of the Inner Circle. And for those of you that don't know, Ray Higdon is an MLM coach who used to be in multi-level marketing. And then I guess, I don't remember his whole timeline, but he has stepped into coaching however many years ago. And now that is what he does. And in my opinion, and I'll just be super upfront and not blunt, but very direct. I have very strong opinions about these MLM coaches because we know that the majority of people in multi-level marketing companies do not make any money or they lose money. And so here you have these coaches, and there's several of them, and we're getting to them. It's taking a little bit of time. There's a lot of content that is sent our way. So thank you guys for that. But these, in my opinion, these MLM coaches are preying on a demographic that is already being preyed on, in my opinion, again, by the MLM companies, where it's basically one giant pay to play pyramid scheme, in my opinion. So that's what these two were about. They were members of RankMakers, and they have a lot of insight. I do also feel like we need to give some trigger warnings. And for those of you that have seen any of the videos that JJ and I have covered when it comes to Ray, there appears to be some sort of a switch that goes off. Not that we're going to be necessarily showing any videos, but some of the details of these stories might be triggering to people. So I don't know if Julie or Jen, if you guys want to kind of elaborate on a trigger warning, and then we can just head on into maybe how you guys found RankMakers and maybe a little bit of that story, and then we can just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think that there might be a warning for anyone who's been a victim of narcissistic abuse, because I think some of the language that might be talked about, I know that it triggered me, which is why I'm here. Um, and so I guess I'll start. So to kind of go off of what you were saying, I want to say that Ray was in 11 different companies before he found success in network marketing. Not a lot of people know that. He was in 11 different companies. And
Can
so
you
he
share
got
some
in
of
at the
those?
right time.
Share
Yeah.
some of those companies, please. I would love to know, Jennifer.
Same.
I don't know all of them. I know one of them was World Ventures. I know another one had to do with silver and gold. Like different, I think, well, Jessica, his wife, worked in makeup. I don't know if that translated into an MLM, but they were in them together. But many people, I mean, his story, he likes to act like he just got in and, but he was in 11 different companies. And I think that that's important to point out. But so how I came into the whole Ray universe is I was a hardcore network marketer from like day one because I was pitched it. I was a vulnerable mom. I was pregnant with my second kid. I was a social worker. I was on call every other weekend. The promise of getting me out of social work and not having to go back to work after my maternity leave after my second daughter. So it was like all through my maternity leave, I was sending messages and I was head down, what they say, ignorance on fire, right? And sure enough, I had some paychecks that seemed to be growing. And so I thought, oh, this is it. This is my sign. So I didn't go back to work after my maternity leave was up because I thought if I just keep working this, it's only going to get better. And for me, it was quick. And I also want to say, if there's anybody listening to this too, I have what I self-diagnosed, I guess, like an addictive personality. I've struggled with, I'm sober, but I've struggled with alcohol dependency. And so, like, probably a little bit of OCD, though I've never been diagnosed. So, when I get into things, I have that personality type. And the person that brought me in knew this. So I just was like, blinders on, right? Oh gosh. So I'm in my company and I, like everybody, I get stuck and I'm stuck at a level for 4.5 years. And I was at GoPro Recruiting Mastery, with Sir Eric Worre. Yeah. And I saw Ray and Jess on stage pitching RankMakers, and they made it seem so simple. And so I signed up for RankMakers. I joined. About less than a month in, I was contacted to become a part of his inner circle coaching group. And this is important too, because looking back, this was a red flag, but I didn't understand it. When they contacted me to join his inner circle program, they did not make it seem like it was a separate group. So this group that he contracts through the coaching group is actually based out of Utah, and a lot of Mormon stuff going on in there as well. So Julie and I like to joke and say we were part of like the unholy trifecta, which is like Mormonism, MLM, and RankMakers.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I become a part of it, and it's important to note too that when you're a part of RankMakers, you are expected. One of the expectations is you're tuning into a live video every single day that Ray does, for those that don't know this. And every single day, there's like something an activity for your business. Typically, they're the same. But there's also a lot of language about how to share your story and how, as he likes to put it, edify him and the group. But he doesn't even use edify in the real way. What you're really doing is you're just showing gratitude for the group, like all MLMs do, you know, like because of Arbonne, because of Monat, because of RankMakers. And so he had asked in a live for people to share the success that they were having already. And hey, I'm coachable and I ate this shit up. And so I type in the chat, I say, you know, I was struggling at a spot in my business for 4.5 years. I've been doing the action steps every single day, and I just had my biggest month ever in my business. Now, what nobody knows is I was already, so I'm like 5 years deep, and I am like full on Hunbot mode. I was obsessed. Arbonne was my company. It was completely my entire identity. And so I come to this group, and of course, I get some success. And so I think, oh, it's because of the group, because that's already indoctrinated in me to put everything that I accomplish into this group. So they're like, oh, what's the success story? And so I'm in Inner Circle. And so I guess they already had me on their radar. Okay. And so I end up joining Inner Circle, and long story short, like I end up then getting a promotion getting a rank advancement in my company that I then attribute to Inner Circle. And this then becomes a part of my story. Okay, she joined the group within 30 days, had her biggest personal month ever. Several months after that, she hits this rank advancement. I get a phone call to become a coach. Or actually, what happened is my coach, let me back up. The coaches actually recommend which clients should become coaches themselves. So my coach, who has since left for similar reasons to Julie and I, RankMakers. Oh my
God. We have to you know, show some of these spicy comments when they come up, because they're
oh my
funny.
gosh, I love it. So and I know I am like trying to condense all this, so I apologize, but so they then reach out to me and ask me if I want to become a coach, because I've created a success story. I have no formal training in coaching. My background, I've worked in social work and criminal justice and did foster care, child abuse and neglect, that kind of stuff. But I'm not a licensed therapist, none of that. But I say yes, it's an opportunity, and that's where I will end it, and I guess pass over to Julie. But long story short, I then became Julie's coach.
Oh my God. I have some questions. Is it okay if I ask you some questions? Okay, so to me, this feels like a massive grooming process. And so and again, that's just in my opinion. Were you paid to be a coach? Because essentially what you're saying is you're coaching RankMakers, people that are paying to be a part of Ray's group. And then he has these coaches. These coaches work with his clients, essentially. So were you paid for that time? So you're already in an MLM, and now you're also coaching people that are in other MLMs. Was there some sort of an agreement also that you had to sign that said that you wouldn't recruit people from other companies?
Correct. Yes. So, well, there wasn't anything that we signed, but there was kind of an honor system that we were not supposed to recruit. Now, that being said, Ray has like 3 women that are kind of like his little minions. And there is a lot of talk about how once you are a coach or you are one of these marketeers that he has, you have influence over these people. They see you training and coaching. They are going to come to you and ask you about your business. I have had several people who were in RankMakers ask me about, you know, oh, you're such a great leader. I love your trainings. Can you tell me more about your company? So, and we were not supposed to say anything, but if they went and signed up and, you know, and that happens, that happened a lot. There were people that did that a lot more. But I had people sign up under me that I didn't actively prospect. But so that answers that. We were paid initially in the beginning. It started off $22 per coaching session. So per half an hour, a coaching session was a half an hour. And there was, in the beginning, it wasn't as many tasks and expectations because we were expected to be a part of this other group. Okay, this other coaching group based in Utah. But I would say around the pandemic, things really took a shift, and Ray had a lot more interaction with the coaches, a lot more control, and yeah, it became really bad really fast. I mean, just inundated with meetings, and also he's pitching to everybody. Another thing that's important is he's pitching to everybody that he's specially training us and that we get all this one-on-one time with him. The specialized training we got from him was a once a month call where, in my opinion, he would come on, expect us to ask questions, and then he would talk about all these coaches he's hiring and how qualified he is. He did shame us. One of my big, like, I gotta get the fuck out of here kind of things was during a meeting with him. He shamed us all for not coming with questions. He was like, you know, you have me sitting in front of you and you're not coming here with questions. Like, if you think that asking a question means that you're not a good coach, I would say the opposite. You not asking a question means you don't care about your clients. And it was nuts. And so yeah, that's what we got paid. And then we did kind of try to voice that, hey, there's all this extra work. So then we were asked to kind of tell what else we were doing, but we're getting like, I was getting nearly 100 messages a day from all my clients, like responding to messages, emails, keeping up to date in the text threads, the Facebook Messenger threads, the groups. Anybody who, if you've ever been a part of like Ray's email list, he's emailing you like 4 or 5 times a day. He's posting inside of all of his groups several times a day. And as a coach, we were expected to be on top of all of that, on top of all the stuff that goes on in your MLMs. Like, so that's already like tons of information control and the bite model.
We have a question here. The Eclectic Mima said, who paid you, Ray or the people you were training?
So, this is such a good question because it's a great distinction. So these coaching packages were sold for anywhere from like $1,500. I've heard of people like paying like $7,500, $10,000 for certain packages. Okay, so these are untrained coaches. Like, these are just people that have created success stories through the program. They never asked us, are you making 6 figures? In fact, because it's pitched as the 100K, like Higdon Group Inner Circle. So it's the assumption that you're learning from people who are making six figures or who can help you get there. But that was never a requirement. You didn't even have to be in network marketing to be a coach, actually. Many people, because they were so inundated with stuff, like myself included, went backwards in their business. So these packages are being sold for thousands of dollars, and the coaches are getting paid $22 per session.
So what I'm hearing you say, based off of your experience, is he's making tons of money, goes live every day in his group. I'm oversimplifying this, by the way. Goes live every day in the group, does a call or a training once a month, and other people coach his RankMakers clients.
Mm-hmm.
While he sits back and makes the majority of the money. Tell me you are in a pyramid scheme without telling me you're in a pyramid scheme.
All my feelings about Ray have been really they are all valid. And yeah, I'm really not surprised to hear this from someone like Ray. Especially like as you watch him more, because Aaron and I have to watch all these MLM trainings all the time. As you watch him more, you kind of see those ego pushes that it's subtle, but it reminds me a lot of Jesse Lee. I commented earlier because I didn't want to interrupt you, but like he's giving Jesse Lee ego vibes, and it's we already know it's dangerous. In my opinion, Jesse Lee's a dangerous person. But for someone like Ray, who's a little smarter than Jesse Lee, in my opinion, in the way that he presents himself, it's even more dangerous for someone like that to be leading a large group of people.
I agree. We have a question here. Was Ray condescending and shaming when people did ask questions? And if so, did that contribute to people not asking questions? Because I could see that. This question comes from Melissa J. So shout out to you, Melissa.
Oh, absolutely. The thing about, like you said, tell me you're in a pyramid scheme without telling me you're in a pyramid scheme. There's always the leader at the top, which of course is Ray. Then I've already talked about what he likes to call his marketeers, which are 3 women that work very close to him and who I have been told and I have experienced, because he did it to coaches, but he did it to these 3 women more. These are women he can call all hours of the night with an idea and say, hey, I want to create this course about this. It's really nuts. And they're just they're just there at his beck and call. And so
FLDS.
There's no checks and balances. So to answer your question, yes, and there's no checks and balances. So like if I brought a question to like our coaches meeting with him, there was a fear. There's a couple fears. There's a fear that he was going to shame you for the question you asked. There was a fear that the Ray Daily the next day was going to be about your question that you asked, which was his daily live video. And sometimes he would give really shitty advice, like often, or like he would give therapy advice or mindset advice, and he is not a trained licensed therapist. And I used to eat it up. I'd fawn at him. It's like so embarrassing. But, I started to see what started to help me wake up was I started to see how it was affecting my clients, where they were coming with major struggles, or they'd get chosen to like ask their question of Ray on like a live video, and he would give them that same like therapy talk. And I slowly watched him actually transition from less of an MLM coach to more of like a cult leader, but like a spirituality. Yeah, like a spirituality coach. It was so strange. And
I have a question.
Yeah, there was no group conversation. Like we're all coaches, right? We're colleagues. It should be an open discussion about how we should coach. And it was not a safe environment to do that.
I have a question for you, Jennifer, and Julie. So it has to do with Grant Cardone and Ray Higdon, and kind of when the two intermixed, because I feel like at the beginning, he wasn't so spiritual and so therapist-y until he got into Grant Cardone and tried to transform into another Grant Cardone. What is your experience with that? Did you I don't know, was there a transition of some kind? I would love to know more about that.
Okay, well, I can go. Julie, I know you were a part of that guided goal power group, right? I think so, and I know Julie knows about this too. So Ray paid $100,000 because he bragged about it all the time to hire the amount of money. That's another thing that was a big red flag is he would constantly tell people how much things cost and how much, like his $7 million home, $100,000 for this coach, $100,000 for that coach. Like, I don't know, my Tesla cost this much, whatever it was. And remember when he was talking about buying a boat in the middle of the pandemic?
Yes. He got it as a good deal because somebody was suffering because they lost their job and he got a really good deal on it. And he was bragging about that.
Hey, Ray, your privilege is showing. You might want to calm down. Ray Higdon, your privilege is showing. Okay.
Yeah, so he paid $100,000 to hire Grant Cardone as a coach, and it was right before the very first RankMakers Live, which was supposed to be a very small event. Well, Grant coached him to 10x his event, and so he turned it from this small, intimate event to this thing, and that is where I believe the ego, really, there were some other things, but Grant is still coaching him. And one of the things that was told to me to try to get me to stay after I said that I wanted to leave coaching was that Grant's team was going to come in and they were going to make some great changes and things were going to change. And I was like, no, that makes me want to get out faster. And that's another interesting thing is when I tried to go, they wanted to keep me on for an extra 3. First, it was they wanted to keep me on till all my clients were done, which would have been another year. Then it was like they persuaded me to 3 months. And then I just couldn't take it anymore. And I just got out. But do you want to add anything about the Grant Cardone thing, Julie?
I didn't know. I've been out 6 months, speaking out for 6 months, and there's been a lot of confusion and unraveling what actually happened. The first time I found out that I knew he was getting coached by Grant Cardone, but the first time I found out Grant Cardone is a Scientologist was from watching Chelsea Suarez, one of her videos that she mentioned it just briefly, and I was like, what? So then I'm now thinking back to what was the experiences of trying to make sense of what happened to me because I didn't have the language at the time. Now, doing self-education with reading, more about the BITE model with Stephen Hassan, listening to different podcasts, watching your content, both Julie, Joe, and you, Aaron, Roberta Blevins, it's piecing it together. So thinking back, he used Grant Cardone's, in my opinion, it's I've spent $100,000 on this. I'm only getting 6 sessions. It's always big, right? And this is why you should purchase coaching as well, because if you want to level up in your business, you need to follow what I'm doing. You never stop getting a coach. Emulate my behavior. So this, in my opinion, is used to persuade people to purchase inner circle coaching. So I think that's why he keeps hammering it. And I remember when I was in inner circle coaching, which I was paying $800 US a month for over a year, on top of purchasing this guided goal power group, which it was the same stuff. There was no reason for me to join this group. But I remember there was this lure of he couldn't attend this 10X conference with Grant Cardone. And he made it this lure, you had to do these, I forget whatever this task was. It's basically just pumping sunshine up his butt, saying how amazing it is. You got all these results from doing this guided goal power group, which he did with every single thing, every single 14-day challenge, every single thing. It's get my prospecting journal. You can get my little purple book of headlines, all these things. If you tag me on Instagram, if you promote RankMakers, we're not supposed to be talking about our businesses. Don't mention your business names, but hashtag RankMakers. We're all like doing this for free. And so tying this in with like him promoting, or like with this guided goal power group, we had to do something like that. And I remember at the time, I'm like, this is BS. Like, I'm not doing this. But I didn't know how schmoogly Grant Cardone was, because I was so busy with Ray, and so busy with RankMakers, and so busy with Inner Circle coaching, and so busy with Mon 8.
Oh. Am I muted? Not anymore. Excellent. I love when I do that. Melissa says, I feel like we need pins or stickers or something, MLM free for 6 months. And I think that's a fantastic idea. And while we are on this topic, before we move on to Julie's story, Janelle has a question. Did Ray ever give Scientology geared mindset advice? Which I think is a good question.
Yeah, because it was all from like Landmark Forum. Ray talked a lot about how we went through Landmark Forum, and it was all about denying your emotions, your gut feeling, overriding your mind. You're the master of your mind. He did a lot of transcendental meditation stuff that also got really culty. He follows like Joe Dispenza, and oh yeah, all the time. I didn't know it was Scientology based stuff, but it was Landmark stuff. And there were several Ray dailies all about his involvement with Landmark. And I know one of my, because I'll piggyback off of what Julie said about always being pitched something. And he talked a lot about his desire to make an impact and give value. And I mean, when you have to talk about it as much as he does, but and I noticed one of the big red flags as a coach. So I'm already in as a coach, and I have this, like, I just got pissed off because when I was a client in Inner Circle, there was a really valuable training that actually one of the other coaches did. It was called an index card training, and it was like how to do your follow-ups, whatever. And it was really valuable to the people who are in it before I knew that, MLMs are what they are. But there was a winner or a finalist of the 14-day challenge that Ray interviewed on his page, who, when she got interviewed, instead of praising Ray, she praised this one challenge or this one training that this coach did. And that must have royally pissed him off, because the next day he made us remove the training. We had to do a different training pitching his 90-day journal. And I realized at that, and his journals were awful. All the coaches, I can't speak for all the coaches, several coaches felt the same way, that it really needed to be improved. And it was that was a really a red flag for me. This is not about value anymore. This is actually about getting people to purchase his things.
The cash grabs.
Yep.
It's really interesting hearing, I have interacted with Ray through Jesse Lee and team events and GoPro, Eric Worre events and stuff like that. We were probably at some of the same events, I would venture to say. It's very interesting to me how he is using I can't even say the word, being in an exclusive group. And then, in my opinion, just based off of what people have shared with me, including you guys, he kind of uses these groups to filter testimonials. Because let's just be honest, if he didn't have testimonials, he wouldn't have clients. If he didn't have one or two people that are like, look, this person was so successful. He did it to Julie. Look, and I'll let her tell that story, but look, she didn't have success before. And I'm not going to go into the details. If she wants to share that, she can. But imagine if he didn't have those testimonials. Imagine if people weren't so, in my opinion, brainwashed to think that the success that they're having is because of him. Is it because of him, or is it because they are cold messaging and using scripts and those types of things? Is it really from him? I don't think let me back up. I really do feel like the content that is made comes from the people in the group. So the programs that he creates, and it has been alleged to me that this is the case. The information that is shared in the group is what it sounds like he uses to create training programs. And then he has this like MLM model where the coaches and the inner circle people also pitch for free to the members of the group and their social media to buy the thing.
Yeah.
It's yikes.
It sounds a lot like Eric Worre and Mastermind or GoPro or whatever it is. And it's like when he gets all the people who pay $25,000 a year together, share ideas with everyone. But what he does, in my opinion, is he takes those ideas and he makes it his own. He takes them and he uses them as training. Yeah, that sentence was right. Sorry. my English isn't Englishing really well. But yeah, it's so weird to connect the dots of all of these people like Jesse Lee, Ray, Eric, and just on and on about how they all do the same thing where, in my opinion, they get all the credit from other people who should be getting all the credit. They take all the credit saying, I did this, I'm doing this, you should join what I'm doing, look how great of a coach I am. When in reality, the stuff that they're getting is from their downline, essentially, which fits real well. It's very much his vibe to be just an MLM all the way around.
Can I just say, if I just want to talk to the people that are in RankMakers just really quickly, because I know that there's probably people watching and there's probably going to be people watching the replay. And I think that that is fantastic. You guys are all welcome here. Okay. If this is you, if you have some sort of a connection with somebody that reports directly to Ray Higdon, don't share your ideas. Don't share them. Because if it's working for you, it needs to be for your business. I know that that may sound selfish, but in my opinion, coaches like this, they have to have those fresh ideas, those new people that are excited. You know, he probably goes through and says people's names on the live and they're like, oh my God, he said my name. Mm-hmm. And they're hooked. Mm-hmm. Don't share your ideas. It's your business. I'm going to use that term loosely. Okay. This is coming from love. Don't share them with him so that he can turn them into some course that you don't get credit for, that you don't get paid for, but he does. That makes no sense to me. I don't like that.
And I think if RankMakers are watching, it's important that they know one of my last meetings as a coach was spent. He told us a story. He had just gotten back from a mastermind in the Bahamas with Grant Cardone that he had, again, told us he paid $10,000 to be a part of. And he went on and said, and I'm so grateful he sold that to me for $10,000 because here's what I learned. And he told this story about how there's this guy who owned these gyms, and he had these personal trainers who were complaining about having to sell supplements because they didn't sign up for this for selling supplements. They signed up to personally train, which then segued into him shaming us for complaining about how much our clients were being sold to in these groups and in his emails and in his text groups and all of these things. And he said, you know, if you don't want to sell your clients, you don't want to serve them at the highest level. And so I think it's important, if you are a rank maker listening to this, that you know that this is what he's telling his coaches to do, is to sell you. And that's us serving you at the highest level.
And who benefits from that?
Just him.
Ray does. Ray benefits from that. And you're essentially selling a product for free.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. Well, thank you for sharing. And if you guys have questions for Jen, drop them in the comments, and I'm trying to star them so that we can go back, and maybe at the end, if we miss anything, maybe we can do JJ, we could do a Q&A or something like that.
Yeah, I have a few questions too when we get to the end, so I wrote some down for that.
I do have a question actually really quickly about what you just talked about, Jen. I know you just muted yourself. Sorry. But does he incentivize the coaches for selling products? Are there contests? Are there rankings? Who sold the most, products to rank make? Like, I don't even know how to word that, but did he incentivize you guys for doing that in any way?
Yes, there was a contest to sell the most RankMakers Live tickets, and I won that contest. And there was a contest to recruit the most, like have your client recruit the most team, and I won that contest. And there was a contest to like I feel I don't say that to be like I won that contest. I won that contest. I'm saying that to give people an idea that it's, and I can swear, right? It's a fucking miracle that I'm out, because I was so deep in. Like he said jump and I said how high.
Which is
Like,
what they want. That's what these coaches
yeah.
want.
And so I'm not saying like, oh, I won that. I'm telling you guys that's how into the, like, I'll do anything for Ray, RankMakers, whatever. So there were little things like that. And then at the end, towards the end, I mean, I was already like kind of on my way out. We did get a kickback if a client renewed with us, which never sat well with me, because then you're just creating a culture of dependency, which is a cult. And, I don't want my clients to have to renew with me. Why? It always felt really weird but they always wanted us to get them to sign up again and again and again. And actually, Ray loved the stories of the people that had to go through Inner Circle like for 2 or 3 years, because he would use those at all of his events to get people to re-sign up.
God, that's so predatory. Janet said, and I may have missed this in your answer, so if I did, I apologize. But Janet said, what did you win for these contests where he was incentivizing the coaches?
We got commission, and we would get a the person who, we'd get like an affiliate thing, very minimal.
So,
but
yeah, I would say just
whoever
a little bit.
Whoever sold the most would get a bonus. I think one was 500, the other was 250 that I got.
And we're talking like when you do the math on what they were spending, that's almost insulting with the amount of work that
it's totally insulting.
Like, think of the hours that you spent coaching people to make yikes. And that's not me shaming you by any means. That's just us like I'm putting pieces together for myself too, because I'm kind of like, how did this work on the inside? Because I was never a part of RankMakers, but I would kind of hear things and see things, and especially now, so thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. JJ, do you have any questions?
Yes. Earlier, Aaron, when you were muted and I was trying to tell you you're muted, I was also muted. So that's how that goes. So I have to keep muting myself because it's storming cats and dogs here really bad. So
send
lots
some
of
rain this way.
Okay, please take some. That'd be great. I do, but I want to wait until the end because there are like 2 big, broad questions. So I'll wait, and I'm excited. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your story. Incredible. Like, if people on here, a lot of them like probably don't understand how difficult it is to share your story. It's very hard. It's very scary, but it really helps a lot of people. So thank you for doing that. Aaron and I understand the anxiety that you feel, and I'm excited to hear your story, Julie.
All right. I just dive in here. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. So I got into RankMakers. I think it might have been a targeted ad, and I had only been with Mon8 for about 4 months. I ranked up to my highest rank, which I ever achieved before I joined RankMakers. It was Managing Market Builder, or MMB. And And funny enough, it's like that ends up being like the top 1% of the company, which is nothing. And I think it's actually the rank below it now, which is the top 1%. MMB is actually like a little bit, there's like 2% or something like that. I came across a free coaching Friday. So that's something that he would do. I don't know if he still does it because I've unfollowed him. Speaking about this, it's taken me a while because I was really triggered by seeing a lot of things. The pushback I've received from people within RankMakers, particularly the 3 women that are close to him. I've heard this term now, it's called flying monkeys. And I've said, I don't like that term. It's dehumanizing. These women are victims. They're also perpetrators. This past week, I've had a lot of men within RankMakers harass me in my comments. I've had to make posts saying, leave me alone. And still I had to delete posts. So it is extremely challenging to speak out. And so I want to put that, okay, so I'm trying to stay focused here. I saw this free coaching Friday video and I thought it was amazing. So I had been already sucked into Mon8 and I had good success. I was the first person in my community to start with Mon8. So that's why. And when I saw these, I had never seen like training like this before. I thought it was so helpful. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I was so jacked up. I'm like, man, if this guy's giving away this much information that's so valuable for free, how much better is it going to be if I sign up for RankMakers? Like I just got sucked in. I was the lemming that jumped off every cliff. I did everything. I ended up in inner circle coaching too. So I joined RankMakers and I forget at the time what it was per month. I think it was $19.99 per month. I did end up becoming a RankMaker lifer. And every day at the time, so I think I got in right when RankMakers kind of started. It was like shortly after it was created. And there was like all these videos to watch and all these things to read. And it's like, make sure you don't prospect other people. We're going to do network marketing different. We're going to show up with integrity. And it felt so good. It felt like I was really a part of something special. And every day he would go live and I thought, this is amazing. Like, this is so great. I was so excited. It seemed to be really great training. I was taking notes. I would pause the video. I would write down all these notes and then I would tell my team, I'd be like, this is incredible. Like you can use this information and you can create, content on social media, see if people are open and give them an out. That's something that we were taught. So it wouldn't be so schmoogly prospecting people and write a curiosity post instead of hashtagging your company name. Like I thought all this stuff was really good. I was really excited about it. And so I ate it up. I loved it. I was in there every day. I'd want to catch it live every day. And it's true. If you got, if he read your comment out loud, you heard your name said by him, it was like you won the lottery. You felt chosen. You felt selected. You felt special. Never mind if like further on now in my story, I participated in every 14-day challenge until I left RankMakers. And this was a series of challenges that would happen quarterly, and over 14 days you'd go live every day. But by this time I had already been like, I respect this man so much. He has given so much value, and there's good stuff I've learned. And I was doing a live video every day anyway, so I'm like, this is just easy, because he says, I've been going live every day for 10 years. I'm a maniac. Nobody's like me. Like, if you want to do it, like, you can do it too. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like going live every single day for 3.5 years straight. Christmas, Easter, every day. My cat dies, I'm going live. I have so much shame and regret. I'm not going to get that time back. Did I
Yay, Audrey.
Read this comment.
Color Street.
Oh,
That's awesome.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Julie. Like that's
no, that's
huge.
okay.
And I know
That is
you would want to
huge.
be like,
Congratulations, Audrey. It's a big
That's
deal. It's a huge step. Congratulations to you. Man.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, friend.
No, that's okay. That's what this is about. That's the only reason I'm speaking out, So I was going live every day for like, it ended up being 3.5 years. And that was just on my Facebook personal account. I ended up having a Facebook business page as well. And then I was posting on Instagram. I had my own team group on Facebook, and I also had a customer group. I would go live in those groups as well. Not every day, but often it was. So at least once a day, I was going live. So for me, these 14-day challenge, I'm like, this is a breeze. I'm already doing this. And I found he gave really good feedback. I won. I didn't win, but I would like place really like high. I'd like number 2 or number 3. Like I'd always be placing in these challenges, every challenge. And sometimes it'd be more than once. There might have been one challenge where I didn't place at all. I don't really remember that. But he would give you a review of like the top 5, I think. He would give you a review of your content and he'd give you advice. So if you know anything, in my opinion, RankMakers is a commercial cult. It ticks many of the boxes of Stephen Hassan's BITE model with the behavior, the information, thought, and emotional control. I didn't know that at the time. I have been aware of contradictions from the beginning, but like many of us, we were taught to push through our comfort zone, that those doubts were our limiting beliefs from childhood trauma that we need to work through, that we have a scarcity mindset. So back to the 14-day challenge, when I would get a review from Ray, so this is also like you are being touched by someone superior to you. So your peers are like really looking at you. You're getting this attention like you are somebody special as well. So, you know, and then this feedback, he would say, you know, the feedback I give you is more valuable than the money that you could get, because you could like win like $500, $100, $200, whatever. I was making more money at these 14-day challenges than I was with Monate. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. So
I'm sorry, Julie, but you're being so modest. Julie was like the face of the 14-day challenges. She cleaned house in these things. But yeah. Sorry, I was gagging while you were talking.
Oh, thank you. So that's that piece. Now every day there's like ritualistic behavior that goes on in RankMakers. Every day there's a certain thing. Wealth Wednesday, you would go out and it's to improve your money mindset. You want to go out and give money to a stranger and then just do it out of the goodness of your heart. And because of that, you're going to attract the windfall of the universe. My phone is getting really high here. Oh, the temperature's like heating up. I hope it's okay. And that's what you do. So we'd think like, oh, this is so great. Throwback Thursday, I forget what that was. I might remember that. And then Free Coaching Friday, but Free Coaching Friday was, so he'd go on his personal page for that. But Friday was Dance Video Friday. And you could upload a video of you dancing and you'd celebrate whatever. So maybe you prospected 10 people. Maybe you signed up a new customer. Maybe you just like wrote in your gratitude journal. And I really enjoyed that. I would do like these dance videos and everybody would be like, oh, happy Friday. I'd be happy Friday. And I would put like a shit ton of heart emojis. I was love bombed and I love bombed back. I didn't know what I was doing. I know Jen was saying she looked back in the group. It was like so pukey gross how we were like love bombing each other. Oh, Jen, I love you, because she was my second coach with RankMakers. So I went to the very first event that I attended with them. And at that time, it wasn't called RankMakers Live. It was called Top Earner Academy Live. And I attended it virtually. And I thought, oh, this is even more amazing. I can't believe this. I remember there was this guy, Garth, I can't remember his last name. But I think since that he used to be like part of, I don't know, he's part of the head of some other new multi-level marketing company. But I remember he was telling this stay stuck story. You can stay stuck. Or you can go, you know, and I thought, oh, I wrote these notes. I did a live video on it. I'm so inspired. I'm like, next year I'm going to go to RankMakers Live. I have to go to RankMakers Live on top of Monate. It's even more important for me to get there. Even though Ray would train, I would rather you go to your company's training, your event, than my event. But no. It's like that's what's said, but the implication is that you really need to get here. And so I went to RankMakers Live as well, and I thought, wow, the energy, it's so awesome. All these people on stage sharing their stories and what I thought was really great training at the time, which it's not, but I got sucked in. And after that, I thought I've got to get into inner circle coaching. Like I've seen it, and they even did like a graph once at one of these RankMakers Live where it says you start here at RankMakers and then you do a 14-day challenge and then you go like this, and it was called 100K Inner Circle. And now at the time, in my opinion, if I remember correctly, it was you're going to be a 100K earner in 6 months if you get a coach and you do exactly what they say. I'm like, it's time. I'm ready. Now, keep in mind, I was prospecting, sending cold messages to people, but I was already creating a shit ton of content. I ended up being like, you know, I don't know if you follow Gary Vaynerchuk when he's like, create 50 pieces of content a day. It could be any, I was doing that. I worked my way up, right? And I was doing these live videos. I was getting good at it. I could bang them out. And it was good, but I wasn't seeing any results. So I thought, there must be something wrong with my mindset. What do I need to do? I need to get into this inner circle coaching. So I did. I got in at the lowest level that was offered to me, which was $800 a month US. I had to pay up front. I say US because it's like $1 billion Canadian, and I'm in Canada.
I'm glad you said that, because I was about to say, and for those of you that don't know, that's a lot more money when you live in
It is a lot. It is a lot. Now, my first coach was also Jen's coach, who's since left. And I loved her. Amazing. So positive, supportive. I loved how she would show up on cameras, like doing videos. I'm like, she's so energetic. Like, I want to be like that. I can actually learn this from her. And then when I renewed this coaching, I went to the next RankMakers Live. And I remember it was being said that you could renew your inner circle coaching, but I was confused. My mind was muddled. And I remember looking around, I'm like, are we supposed to go to the back and sign up now? And I know now that this is another cult tactic, that you're disoriented and you're driven to make these purchasing decisions. And that's what I remember being really confused at the time. And I'm like, well, I should sign up. Like, I should sign up again. I don't really know, but I'm going to do that. So I did renew. And that's when I was assigned another coach, which was Jen. So I get into it, like I'm in inner circle coaching. With inner circle coaching, my first call with my previous coach, it was like, okay, we got to start prospecting every day, because I wasn't prospecting very much, if at all, because I thought I'm just going to create a boatload of content. I want to attract people to me. I don't like prospecting. But I built my way up to then I was prospecting 200 people a day. And I would do that across Facebook and Instagram primarily. And then I would follow up typically with around 40 people a day. And I still wouldn't like see results. There was a shit ton of content within Inner Circle as well. Lots of videos from the coaches, lots of different assignments. One that was given was called this Weekend Warrior contest, which this was another thing at the time. There was starting to be red flags popping up for me. I started to see them. And it was like this bullshit bingo card. One of them was like, I made a piece of content about this, like go to the grocery store and take a picture of you with like an eggplant and a stranger, or a banana and a stranger, or something. Like, this is going to prove that you're getting out of your comfort zone. And it was just so much busy work. I'm like, how is this going to move the needle in your business, right? So I checked out of that, like that particular assignment. But you'd see people who voiced objections, like somebody had asked that question. I remember he did a training in Inner Circle and he went off his nut. He's like, this is when he's like the tough guy. I don't fucking care if you leave. Like, he switches like that. And he did that. And I remember going through this. I used to be really impressed with this behavior. I thought it meant that he really cared about people. But I remember at that time, I'm like, that's wrong. Because now I'm in agreement, right? But I just didn't have the courage to speak out. So around this March 2020, the pandemic hits. I lose my job, my contract work. I can no longer afford the network marketing coaching, which has gone on almost a year, I think. It's confusing, over 6 months anyway. And so I have to cancel my coaching. And one of the coaches calls me and says, well, we have another option for you. It's only $129. I think that's what they said. I might be incorrect. And I'm like, no, I'm unable. And then they gave me another option of $29. I could still stay in this group. I'm like, are you kidding me? I had no idea that this was even an option. I was paying $800 a month. You're like, you're not going to get these coaching calls, but you can still be in the group. And I remember I was groveling in gratitude. Thank you so much. It's another side note. When we were in Inner Circle, we were given tasks. Tell everybody in the group that in RankMakers and hashtag, RankMakers, hashtag Inner Circle coaching, what you're so grateful for, what you've learned. So we're basically recruiting from RankMakers. Also in RankMakers, on top of it, I was like, hashtagging RankMakers, Ray, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your mindset training. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here today. Just like the most sucky suckhole cult identity Julie ever. At the time I thought, and then if he commented, thank you, I won at life. What else is there to do, right? Inner Circle coaching, pandemic. I can't afford it anymore. $29 a month I'm in. I'm like, thank you so much. Oh, I can't believe you're this gracious. Oh, and she's like, don't worry, you're going to get back. You're going to bounce back. Everybody does. You got this. I get into the group and I don't like that. I feel because I'm spending only $29, I don't have the right to ask any questions or comment or whatever. That's my feeling. And then I'm thinking, this is wrong. Like they need me. I don't need them.
I was just going to say that. I unmuted to say, Julie, you know, he wanted you in that group because he needed your energy. He needed how you created content. He needed you to be the face of certain things, and he needed your story. I just unmuted myself. I'm so glad you see that, because imagine if you had left at that point, he wouldn't have any of the content that you made after that to use as testimonials.
Yes. And I gave him testimonials. I testimonialed in 14-day challenges. I gave advice to people. If this is your first 14-day challenge, here are 10 things that you could do. And I'm always wanting to help people. That's what, that's why a lot of us get into this in the first place, right? We're thinking that we're doing the right thing. So also around this time, it was actually in, I think it was August 2019, I started on TikTok because I heard like Gary Vaynerchuk say, like, get on TikTok. So I get on TikTok, and that was like, you don't do that if you're in RankMakers. No way. TikTok, he made so many pieces of content disparaging TikTok, calling it ding dong. It's so stupid. It's going to fade away like the vine. And it was like, I was so excited and so passionate. I'm like, you guys need to get on this platform. This is going to teach you how to create content and tell an effective story in 15 seconds or less. It delivers trending audio clips, trending hashtags. You can repurpose this content onto Facebook, onto Instagram. You can send this. I mean, it is fresh. Nobody has seen this kind of thing before, right? And what I got back was like these, in my opinion, a lot of passive aggressive content referring to how stupid it was for you to be on TikTok, how you're wasting your time. And various coaches, Jen was not one of the coaches, let me be absolutely clear about that. About me being like, it's clear they were talking about me. Nobody else was on it. There's like a few people on it. And one of the days I remember there was another client that was interviewed by another coach saying, this coach told me to get on this new platform, and it's TikTok. I'm like, you fuckers, I've been telling you about this all this time. Like, what is going on here? I don't care about attention, but what is going on here? Why is this so, like, I don't understand. I need to back up. Because the timeline is still confusing. I'm still unraveling a lot of this stuff. Memories come up in that. There was a point when I stopped doing the live videos every day after 3.5 years. I'd also stopped. I bailed out of one of the last 14-day challenges because Ray was talking about, I think he was reviewing my piece of content, and he did this tactic that he taught us to do. And it's how you disparage someone or minimize anything that their legitimacy, credibility, by using a tone of voice. And he would say, well, Julie's piece of content is like this, but this guy's piece of content is amazing. And I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing. And now I'm out of the 14-day challenge. I didn't finish it. And that was like a big deal to me. And then I don't know if it was maybe around then, it must've been, where I'm like, I'm no longer doing a daily live video for 3.5 years. I made a small little post on Facebook. Who cares? I'm like, nobody's going to care. But oh my goodness, apparently people did care, because Ray, in my opinion, made a piece of content about me in RankMakers saying about, I don't know if he mentioned my name because I refused to give him the watch time. But I had a lot of people in that group tag me because I woke up, saw my notifications, and I had 2 people reach out to me. And one of them was Jen and another one was somebody else. And they were like, I can't believe this, this video has been made about you. I agree with you. You do whatever you want for your life. And I also had one of his flying monkeys reach out to me and said, a woman close to him, I don't want to say flying monkeys, but that gives you the idea. That's the terminology that's used anyway. Ray made a video about you. Are you okay? Are you stopping doing a live video every day for the right reasons? And like, why, thinking back, like, why would you do this? This is run like a cult. Jen had sent to me a book while I was being coached by her, a book by Glennon Doyle called Untamed. And there was a passage in there where you're a goddamn cheetah. And I felt like even when we were both in it, we were both aware of contradictions. I felt really seen by her because, you know, it was really, really, it meant so much. So, you know, when you're in these things, you're aware of things going on, but you're struggling to make sense of it. When I started to get really good success on TikTok, when it became apparent that like it is an actual thing, then Ray reached out to me. Hey, Rockstar, you want to do a training? And I'm like, wow, I would love to do a training. That would be awesome. So
yeah, I'd love to do a training, Ray. I'd love it.
Can I set this up real quick? Because
yes.
When I was coaching Julie, I pitched Ray. Julie's having success on TikTok. I think it would be great if we did an inner circle training with Julie. His first question to me was, is she recruiting anybody? And the second question was, is she making any money? Which I thought was interesting. And now I see it. At the time, I remember going to you, Julie, and saying, well, he wants to know if you're recruiting, and you hadn't really recruited yet. Yes. And which I find so interesting, because recruiting and making money, I thought that you could make money by just selling products. Or doesn't he have people who are just in it for a little bit? Or it's like all of these people care whether you're recruiting or you're making money. And because she wasn't recruiting, it wasn't going to be valuable to anybody.
But
and I thought that was really telling.
Very telling. But doesn't he also have people celebrate when they prospected one person, when they cold message using scripts for the first time? So like a lot of these things that are packaged as income producing activities, doesn't he have them celebrate those things? Like within the group? And it's interesting to me, just like you said, that, you know, the recruiting and the money making. And I actually was going to ask that question. Well, were you recruiting, you know, from TikTok? It's very interesting to watch people just like Ray Higdon that use people, in my opinion, and, you know, lift them up and love bomb them and showcase them and look at, you know, Jen, and look at Julie, and they've had these great results and this and that. And the second that you stop doing what he wants you to do, he's going to do a live and not name you. In my opinion, he's a coward.
Yeah, I have to add something to that. First off, Julie, hearing your story, I'm like outraged by literally, I could say stuff right now, but I'm not, because I'm not going to say it on YouTube. But
we'll FaceTime later.
Yes, we will. I gotta let this out. The fact of the matter is, and this goes for Aaron and Jen too, because I'm pretty sure it's happened to every one of you. I know it's happened to Aaron. He has to, and people like him have to get on and disparage people who leave or stop doing something, because that person is looked up to, that person does an amazing job, that person's well respected. And if he doesn't do that, he loses control. People go, wait, why is Julie stopping? Why is Jen out? What's going on? Jesse did the same thing to Aaron. They have to do that to gain control back. If they don't, people start asking questions. And I want you to know that he had to do that. Now, I think he's just a terrible person in general, but no, it's not a reflection of you. And I know you know that. I know you and Jen both know that. It's not a reflection of you or you doing something wrong. It's that he feels like he's losing control, in my opinion. So
and he is, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Well, he certainly lost control of me. That's for sure. I am uncoachable. Absolutely, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, you go ahead.
That's right,
wild woman.
And that after that training was bundled up and sold with other people's training, and it had in brackets value of $27, I never was paid for it. I thought that was weird. I thought that he would contact me. I thought he would say, "Thank you so much. Here's some money," but there was nothing, and I realized there's never going to be anything. I looked up to him so much, even then, even with all of this going on, I still looked up to him. I still respected him. I still wanted his approval, even though we're taught this definition of posture. Would you
Are we
like to
gonna
say it
say
at the
it?
same time? Yeah. Okay.
We must hear this.
Okay. Like 3.
I'll wear it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. The belief
Posture
in
is
what
the belief
is
in
the
what you
belief in
have
what you have without the need for external acceptance or approval.
approval. Sorry, there's like a delay.
It is.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
my god. Oh my
I
god.
need uncoachable merch. I need to wear that.
That needs
I
to
need
happen.
So that really bothered me. And at this time, I also watched Lula Rich. And that really started me. I'm like, now, so it was, I had a lot of, it's like everything just trying to get out of multi-level marketing. It took me about 1.5 years. And I can pinpoint it was when I got out of inner circle coaching because of the pandemic. That's kind of when it started. I started questioning. Now, he also asked me to shout him out on TikTok. It's like, do you do shout outs, or I forget exactly how it was phrased. And I said, oh, I will, like when the time is right, because then I need to feel it. And I did. I made a piece of content. I'm like, go follow him. This is 3 pieces of advice that I learned from him. And this is really valuable. And so people did go and follow him because I made that piece of content about him. And that's why now when I'm speaking out, it was very important for me to let the people that I know that I sent to him, that I retract that, because I believe that RankMakers is a commercial cult, in my opinion, and he knows exactly what he's doing. There's psychological abuse going on, financial exploitation, and emotional manipulation, in my opinion, going on. And it's happened to me and it's happened to others. And more people are coming forward and speaking out. People are speaking out, connecting with each other, finally, behind the scenes. And some people are starting to get the courage to actually speak out. But everybody's been so afraid to say his name. There's an incredible amount of shame and stigma attached with saying anything negative, because it's the same thing as being in a multi-level marketing company. Your belief must be absolute. If you fail, it's because you don't believe enough. There's something wrong with your mindset. You are broken. At the same time, the message is sent to you that there is nothing wrong with you. It's like Jen said, it's the biggest mind fuckery of all. Jen reached out to me in a message and said that she was leaving. Is it okay if I say this, Jen?
Yes, absolutely.
And I was like, oh man, because I had been interviewed by Aaron. And I had said after the interview, I said, if there's one person I want to see get out, it's Jen, my coach, right? I'm going to get emotional here. And
you're allowed to be
she
emotional
did.
Here.
She got out. And the day she got out, I was like, my arms were like goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like I just knew I needed to speak out. I could see what was going on. I didn't know 6 months ago. I knew it was wrong. Now I really know what's going on. I imagine I'm going to get even more perspective as I continue to educate. I attended that MLM conference 2022, and it had all these academics, these researchers that are doing these presentations. So I imagine I'm going to be even more, well-versed and have more of a perspective of what's happened to me. But that is like, that's all it was. I'm like, and we're good friends now. And that was it. That's my story as of right now.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. That was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And the impact of these stories are going to continue. Like, because of you two sharing your stories, the impact is, however long this video is up on the internet, that people are going to watch it, people are going to hear it, and it's going to impact them for years. Truly, like it's going to be really incredible, because what people don't know is sharing our story. It's hard, we know that, but what they don't know is the after effect of it. Of we likely will get shit, right? We're gonna get talked about. We're gonna have videos made. We're gonna all this stuff, but in the end, it doesn't matter to us. We've thought about that. We know that. Because we know what they say is just really, like I said earlier, and like you said, Julie, disparaging. I love that. They try to disparage us because they know what we're saying is true. They know that we experience this. So thank you both for being incredible and being brave and sharing your story it really truly makes an impact. I got out of my MLM by hearing people sharing their stories. So we really appreciate y'all being on here.
Can we also talk really quickly about the power that fear that some of these people in MLM, I think it's really, really important that we talk about this. Julie shared some of this, Jen shared some of this. And I think that just from what people have shared, just, here privately, that type of thing, people being scared to say his name.
Oh my gosh.
Listen to me when I tell you guys this. I'm speaking directly to people in RankMakers. This is coming from a loving place, a non-judgmental place. If he doesn't have the control through fear, he has nothing.
Yeah.
And
reality,
we see it in MLMs all the time.
You're exactly right, Erin. In reality, once you step out of that place of being around Ray, his name means nothing. He has no power. He truly has zero power. But it's hard to understand that when you're in that place where he is a leader. So like Erin said, if you're watching this, you've been a part of RankMakers or Inner Circle or whatever it is, and you're afraid, if you step into reality, he means nothing. Yeah. He has no control and no power. So I hope that brings those that are fearful and are scared some peace knowing that.
And know that, if you choose to leave RankMakers, which we all hope that you do, and you can message any of us. I feel pretty confident in just saying, you can message any of us privately. We're not going to share anything that this is a safe place. It will always be a safe place. I know Julie, Joe, and we don't share anything. And I'd venture to say Jen and Julie are the same. We don't share anything unless you ask us to share something. Hey, it's okay for you to say my name. I'm going to treat everything like it is anonymous just to protect you guys. Just know that if you decide to leave RankMakers, please don't feel pressured to speak up. You don't have to. You will know if speaking up is something that you really want to do, but please take the time to process everything. I think genuinely, when I got out of MLM last summer, I wish I would have taken more time to process. I went right into creating anti-MLM content, partly because I was pissed off, honestly.
Yeah.
And you're allowed, your emotions are valid. You're allowed to feel all of those things, but create the space to allow yourself to process that. If you feel like you want to speak up, how can we help? If you just want support, how can we help? But look at the results that you think that you're getting. Look at the money that you're spending. Do a profit and loss statement. You're already spending money probably on your products with your MLM. You're already paying to go to these events. You're already paying for all of these things. Now you're also paying for RankMaker stuff, and you're being pitched by the coaches to buy Ray's things that he is getting from other people that are paying him. He's basically creating programs, allegedly, from people that are paying him, and then he's selling it back to the rest of the people. Do you guys just let that sink in? For those of you that are in RankMakers, just let that sink in. Okay. I don't know. That's all I got. I just wanted to speak directly to those people. If he doesn't have fear, he has nothing.
And I think it's important to tell everybody that people are reaching out to Julie and I.
Yes.
Daily.
Yes.
And more people than I ever expected. And so, there are people who are reaching out. You're not going to be alone. You're not going to be the only one. I didn't even touch on the part of the story where I also was a part of the Higdon Group speaking team, and there were 8 women on that team, 4 of which have left. 50% of that team have left. Those are people who had close contact with him, and I think that's a really important statistic to kind of tell you what it's like to be in close proximity of this man who allegedly, in my opinion, is leading a commercial cult.
Yeah, Erin, what do you think about questions now?
I was just gonna say that. You wanna answer some? Seriously, it's really crazy. Yeah, I know that we have at least 6 questions. If you guys have questions, drop them below. We'll take a couple minutes, and Jen and Julie can answer some questions, and then we'll call it a night.
Sounds good. I can look through, see if anyone asked questions, and if you want to ask them out loud.
Okay. Yep. All right. So this is a great question from Nicole. I recently watched Aaron's video on Ray where he turned very angry very fast. Is he always like that?
No, he's not always like that. He knows when to do it. It's very calculated.
Yes.
He will do it, like Julie said, and I used to eat it up. Julie said she used to eat it up. I thought it meant because he really cared about you. He knows when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Yeah. I have been, for a guy who talks so much about, like, you know, not caring about haters and not caring about that kind of stuff. I mean, I have seen him go off on really angry tangents about ridiculous things like that, where maybe it's more reactive. But he has anger issues.
Yes, I remember he would make content. He said, "I know you guys love it when I get angry," and then he would like deliver. And it's calculated. He did it at RankMakers Live as well. Wait for the right question. It's like you can kind of read the room and build the energy. There's a lot of social psychology that is being unethically used. Like I have a psychologist now because when 4 months out, I realized I could not handle the scope of what I'd gone through, what I'd been a part of. I had been contacted by people. I'd said, you need to get into inner circle coaching. I was an athlete, for 13 years. I paid for a coach. I would just self-indoctrinate myself. I know I was personally responsible for referring people in there. They spent thousands of dollars because of me. And I'm like, that's in my head, Anyway, I know I didn't really answer, but it came out. Sorry.
No,
this is what cult recovery looks like.
No, I love that. I was going to say something I forgot, but now I just remembered. People don't realize, and it's great, like kind of what you said is, sorry if you can hear my dogs munching. They're eating dinner right in front of me. How much being in a commercial cult or being in an MLM, some people don't realize how much it can harm someone. They don't realize that it is a cult experience. Just because it doesn't look like a Jim Jones cult doesn't mean it doesn't harm people. There's a question later on that I'm really excited to hear from y'all, so go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. Okay, so next question, and Hunter says, is this rooted in religion, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know. I know that there's like a lot of crossover. Like I've been learning about that faith-based manipulation. I did see that one interview where he said that Jesse Lee walked on water. I mean, that's loaded language. Oh, so yeah. For sure there's got to be something, but I can't speak. I don't really know.
Well, after you left the groups, Julie, I don't know if you were in when he was really into Joe Dispenza. When he started getting into
that's
Joe
new.
Dispenza.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of religion, he was very adamant about saying he wasn't religious. He kind of believed in, like, he had belief, but he wasn't religious. And then he started getting into Joe Dispenza and transcendental meditation and had this spiritual coach. And in my opinion, took on a God complex. Ugh. So yikes. I think that would root it in religion.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who studied it, I know, I've said it before, it's probably annoying. I got a master's in this stuff. It is all based on religion. All of it. I mean, down to the very core of what multi-level marketing is and the practices that happen. It's all based on some form of religion, usually Christianity. Scientology apparently got mixed in with Ray, but yeah, a lot of it is.
I'm going to speak for everybody and say it's not annoying when you speak up about religion, and I actually was hoping that you would also answer this question for that reason. So, thank you.
I sometimes I just think it's annoying when I say like, oh, I have a master's in this, again and again. I just want to get okay.
For those of you in the comments, let JJ know that we love when she speaks about her degree, about her master's degree, and shares her wisdom. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, next question. DM says, is he a Tony Robbins for business type vibe?
I think he tries to be. I think he tries to have that kind of like influence for sure. I think that's the vibe he's going for.
Well, he wanted to have a Netflix special. Remember when he'd always go on about that? Because it was like Netflix, it's like the training the Ray Daly. It's like all this inspiration. You got to write down what you want your goal to be. Like, where do you want to be? I want a Netflix special. Maybe there'll be a Netflix. I am so happy and grateful there's a Netflix special about me. Because when Tony Robbins, that Not Your Guru came out.
I'd love to see a Netflix special exposing RankMakers and Ray Higdon. That would be fantastic. I agree with that.
This is a little bit culty thing about me. I actually went through Tony Robbins Mastery University, and I'm a trained Tony Robbins coach. And I could never market that when I was a part of the Higdon group. Yeah. Because
we could talk about Tony Robbins a lot because I went to one of his events as well.
Because he is, in Ray's opinion, is a competition of Ray.
That says a whole lot if Ray Higdon thinks he's competing with Tony Robbins. Bro, please.
Of course Ray thinks that.
Your God complex is showing, allegedly, in my opinion. Go ahead and tuck that in, Ray Higdon. Dear Lord.
They had asked me if I was recruiting people. I don't know if they use the word recruiting, but if I was like getting people into Tony Robbins' universe more than Ray's universe. I'm not calling it Ray's University. It's Ray. Sounds like a children's show.
That's exactly what it makes me. It makes me see him like a little boy in the corner that got in trouble. That's what it looks like. That's what this feels like to me. I'm like, God, what? Please stop. It's crazy. All right. This isn't a question. It's a comment from Ashley. And she says, it's crazy because 99.9% of the population has no clue who these men are. And and in these small groups, he's looked at as a god. It's bizarre. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything that you want to.
It's a cult. It comes in, and these commercial cults, any kind of cult, like there's like, I don't know if you're familiar with Stephen Hassan's bite model where he talks about the influence continuum. So you can be in a cult, but you can leave at any time, and the members aren't going to excommunicate you, and you don't have to behave you don't have to strict adherence, and it's you're informed. It's informed consent kind of thing, and then it moves along the spectrum to like more like what I consider we were a part of. It's like it is damaging. It is dangerous. It is a legit cult. So nobody joins a cult. I know from listening to Sarah Edmondson and Nippy Ames on A Little Bit Culty, they were in Nexium. Both Jen and I watched The Vow on HBO, and I know we were messaging each other. I'm like, oh no, this exactly happened here. This happened here. Are you serious? We're like, we're 3 degrees away from being branded. Oh, it's just, I'm like I'm like, no way, the similarities. So, but nobody joins a cult, they join a good thing. And so you get into this like a small group, and it's by degrees, and you really respect someone. They really help you out. I was really helped out. I got some great coaching advice from him. Jen said a really good quote. She said, just because there was good doesn't mean you ignore the bad. And usually that's flipped when we're in these groups. It's like, just because there's bad doesn't mean there's good,
Yeah. No, that's a great point. All right, next question we have comes from Hunter. How did you find Lula Rich? Was it organically, or was it mentioned because they wanted you to not see it? That's a great question.
I found out about it from Julie, so this isn't a good question for me.
Like a rebel, Julie.
Yeah, I'm uncoachable. I'll own that. It's like Julie Joe is called Potato Head or
Potato Head.
Mrs. Potato. Yeah, so I like the uncoachable moniker. It's like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll own that.
Absolutely.
I started to do the first anti-MLM content I got into was anti-MLM Reddit, and then I kind of went down that. Then Lula Rich came out, and so I was already like curious. And then so it never was mentioned to me. I just found it on my own because I started to get questions. Question about it, or I had my own questions about it. Sorry.
Love that. Okay, and next question is from Kirsten. Why do you think he cares so much about anti-MLM? I can't wait for these responses.
He thinks, in my opinion, he thinks all anti-MLM content was created for him because of him. Like, that he is carrying, I really do believe that he feels he carries like the MLM, he's like this savior for the MLM industry, and that all these anti-MLM creators are, the world revolves around him.
Yes.
Don't tell Jessie Lee he thinks that. She be careful.
Yeah, and that's
Dead.
I was gonna say that about that last comment about, can you imagine somebody else watching like your reaction video to those two? Because me watching it, I'm only I'm a month out of Inner Circle and RankMakers. 1 month. And I'm like almost 6 months out of my company. But it's like, I couldn't imagine watching that as someone who has no idea about these worlds. It's like nuts.
What they don't get with anti-MLM, Aaron, I bet we're about to say the exact same thing. I swear it.
I guarantee you we are.
Is that maybe we will. I don't think about them. Like literally, we don't think about them. We see a video, we react to the video, we're sent the video, we react to the video. Guess what? We live our life because we're not in a cult. We don't even care about them. You know what we care about is the manipulation, the cult tactics, the disgusting thing that they're doing to people. And you know what? It's not even necessarily a them thing. It's a broad spectrum. Hey, this is bad. This is what happens in MLMs. This is what it looks like. Be careful thing. Ray, you mean absolutely nothing to me. I don't even think about you unless I see your face or I'm having a conversation in this instance. You mean nothing. I don't waste a breath on you unless I'm doing a video. And that's how it is for all people in MLMs with me. Yeah. Like, I want the best for them. I really do. I want them to see what they're doing is bad. I want them to get out. But honest to God, I don't think about them otherwise. None.
I think there's a certain amount of, whether we're talking about MLM coaches or MLM leaders that are featured in any anti-MLM content, I think there's a certain amount of trying to get ahead of trying to control, trying to prevent their people from seeing and really kind of questioning. I think it's the smoke screen effect. I think that, they're trying to say, oh, well, she wasn't successful. He wasn't successful. That's not the case. I also find it really interesting because almost all of them that Julie, Joe, and I have reacted to, probably, I would venture to say that they don't listen to their haters. However, how much content do they put out for their haters?
Quote us.
Which, by the way, let's just define the word hate. Hate is typically when you feel passionate about a person, and any anti-MLM content creator is about the behavior.
Yeah, shouldn't feel passionate about the person.
It's not the person, it's the behavior. It's the manipulation behind it. And it is, in my opinion, their only way to defend what they're doing is to say, oh, they're just haters. No, we don't hate you. I don't hate anybody. Yeah, I don't hate anybody. I don't like what you're doing. I'm going to expose what you're doing. I'm going to say your name with my chest. Ray Higdon. you know, but it's not about the person. And you can't say somebody is a hater if they're talking about the behavior. So that doesn't even make any sense. And if you're really that unbothered by anti-MLM content, then why are they making so much content addressing it? Just keep sending people our way to our inbox.
It's true. It's curiosity posts. I think it's like, in my opinion, I think it's like that song. I think you think this song is about you, don't you? It's like that. Yes. And it's really missing the mark, because anti-MLM content isn't for them. It's for the people that are still within it, because that's what got me out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm showing up for the people that are still, were my friends, that some of them have blocked me, because I know they're going to come out. I know they're going to get out one day. They're good people. They are very intelligent people. They're creative people. They are compassionate. Their behavior is horrible. It was the same as my behavior. I did a lot of brutal things that I thought that I was doing the right thing. And the more people they come across, I know, Aaron, I saw a piece of content when I was still in Mon 8, and I saw that you were out of your network marketing. You said anti-MLM, and I was like curious. I'm like, but I didn't block you. I did block other people. I'm like, they're a hater. That's what we were taught. It is like a thought-stopping cliche. Any criticism, any scrutiny, you're a hater. Nobody talks about hate more than people in network marketing, and nobody talks about hate more than network marketing coaches. That conversation, which is predictable cult behavior. It's us versus them. Yes. I have never heard anybody within the anti-MLM movement call anybody in an MLM a hater. Like, they're like, you're a hater because you disagree with me. You know, it's really weird once you're on the outside and you start seeing this behavior and you're the recipient. When 6 months ago or 7 months ago, I would have been doing the same thing. Yeah. And I remember when I was watching Lula Rich, I couldn't hear Robert Fitzpatrick explain about the mathematical impossibility of a pyramid scheme, of multi-level marketing. There was like a brick wall in front of my eyes, in my mind. I had to rewind it. I'm listening to him, rewind it. And I'm like, this is horrifying that this is in my head right now. And I'm trying to get the information. And so when these leaders or these coaches, I think that it's not only like this huge, massive ego where it's like they must be talking about me. Yeah. But I think that they do perceive it as a threat. I do. I think that he's smart. I think he's blinded by a lot of things. But I think that he must know. Yeah, he's got to know. Come on, you know.
Yeah. Well, and any attempt to hold people accountable is negativity. They think accountability and negativity are the same thing. No, I'm not being negative. I'm telling the truth in an attempt to hold you accountable for your behavior.
Yes.
And that's the spin they put on it.
Yes. And because he's made a video about me and then ends the video with, but there's still a place in my heart for her. People now are coming back, well, you know what? I know these things have happened, that he's lied about you and these things, but he said this at the end and he sounded really sincere. And I'm like, you can't explain to someone why that's wrong, because they're still in the cult. So it's like that, but that's what I've been dealing with lately. There's this new wave of pushback. That's why I'm wondering, like, is this what happens at the 6-month mark? Has there been more content made? Like, I don't know. But I'm not going to be quiet about it. I'm not going to be silent about it. What's going on is wrong. This needs to be the light shine on it. Shine, you know?
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear about Ray's video and RankMakers and his RankMakers group about this video here. So for those of you that are still in the group, and if you'd like to screen record that and send it to Julie, Joe, and I, we will react to it probably on a live.
Absolutely.
I would love that.
Also, if you're in RankMakers, if you're in RankMakers and you're watching this and you were one of those people that went, oh, Ray was being sincere, no, the hell he wasn't. No, he was not when he said that about Julie. No, he was not. He wanted you to think he was. And that's a part of his manipulation tactic. So just remember that. Julie's not the bad guy here. Jen is not the bad guy here. They're sharing their experience for other people to hear, like you who are watching. Because this isn't fake. This is true. And sometimes it just takes a story from someone they knew to step out.
Yep. Okay. Hunter also wants to know how you guys found anti-MLM content. I think Julie kind of answered that. She was like, I found a video of I'm sure she found other content creators as well. She's talked about Roberta Blevins and stuff. But how did you guys find anti-MLM content?
Julie was somebody that I respected, and obviously we worked together. I was her coach, and then she kind of became mine, or like my anti-MLM like healing buddy. So that was an interesting role reversal that I never saw coming.
I love that.
But I mean, it's like, I don't think there could have been anybody else who I would have been open to hearing it from, because she wasn't so close to me. And then she wasn't so far removed from me. It was like the perfect, like my ears perked up, and she was a huge face in those groups, and she was infectious, her energy, and she still has that energy too, by the way, because I know like people like try to attribute that to, oh, you were so happy, not just to you, Julie, but like everybody, right? Oh, you seemed so happy in those groups. It's like, I have responded to people like, that was obedience, not happiness. There is a difference. And so I, just knowing Julie from that, I would watch a video, and then I watched the videos for a couple months, and I started to have those Me Too moments, like, oh my gosh, I remember thinking that same thing. And then I commented, and I remember, I don't know if you remember the first video you made of one of my
I remember.
comments.
Oh, I remember.
What was it? I don't even remember what I commented. Do you know what I said?
It was. I remember that it was like, I was so excited that you had did it. I'm like, I'm going to be responding to her right away. I don't know the exact content, but I remember that day because I'm like, I was all over it, because I'm like, as soon as there's one rank maker that's like on the fence, I'm going to be shining the light, like, encouraging, just critically think,
Yeah, and so then, and that actually helped me. It was a little scary, but I was already, it was helping me. And then I messaged you privately, and then I started to consume, my own content and read the books and all of that.
Love that. Julie, did you find it on TikTok?
I found you on TikTok. But I found it was an anti-MLM Reddit. I started to have questions, and I think it might have been after Monations. I virtually attended it, and I could not believe the religious component. And I could see like this John Maxwell character walking across the stage, and everybody. He says this saying, and it's like he's known for. My name is John, and I am your friend. Except at Monations, he was like, bye, and everybody's like, whoa, name. He's dragged out, and I'm like, give me a break. And he didn't, in my opinion, he didn't like prepare a speech. He was rambling. It didn't make any sense. It was like, maybe this was like, I was actually seeing what was before my eyes, which had been there all this time, which is like, they call it word salad. he said something like, you can't do the do if you haven't done the did, and everybody's losing their minds. And then there was people like holding these Bibles up. Woo, 200 people have like converted at Monations. I'm like, I'm in a cult. What is going on? And so then I thought LuLaRich, anti-MLM Reddit. Then I started I found Roberta Blevins' podcast, and I started binging. Like a lot of people do. It's like I immersed myself. I wanted to find what has happened to me, what is going on. And then I found From Huns to Humans, Daniel Bolster, and then I found you, Aaron. I found you on we were already friends on TikTok, but then I saw you were like out of network marketing, and I'm like, but you weren't very vocal. It was kind of like just super like non-offensive, I guess, because I was like very like, oh my goodness, somebody would say something like, oh, how could they say that about multi-level marketing?
I'm literally so offensive on TikTok.
It just took me some time to kind of step into it a little bit. I will never forget, Julie, because yes, we were connected on TikTok. And I was like, man, I like her energy. I like this whole thing. And there was one video that you did where you were showing the Mona. You guys know I call it Mona over here. Okay. You were showing them Mona products, and I was all, oh, she's got an MLM. And it wasn't long after that It wasn't long after, I don't remember when that was, but it wasn't long after that I saw you starting to speak out, and I was like, oh my God, you left your MLM. This is amazing. Yeah, I remember that. All right, last comment we have is actually for Jen, and she says, oh my God, Jen, I was in RankMakers for a year, and you're absolutely one of my favorite people in there. So glad to see that you got out. It was just all so toxic. So thank you, Mad Squishy.
Hey.
By the way, that's a
Yeah,
cool
thank
screen
you.
name. I love that.
Mad Squishy.
Mad Squishy. It's just fun to say. Did we miss any other questions?
I did not see any other questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Julie and Jen, for being on here. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for allowing JJ and I to be here and supporting you guys telling your story, because that's really what this was about. I was telling Julie privately, like, this is about you guys. This is about you sharing your story, sharing your journey, because when people that are influential leave these commercial cults, it carries a lot of weight. And so thank you guys for allowing us to be a part of it. And yeah, I don't know, JJ, I'm sure you have some things to say.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I have a billion things going through my mind. I wanted to ask before we left, there's one question I wanted to ask for both of you. If someone could take away like one or two things from your story or experience, what would those one or two things be? Like if you had to sum up what you wanted someone to take away from your experience, what would it be?
Trust your instincts.
Good one.
That's the whole thing that has helped. It led me in and it led me out. Like people are like, but there was good. I'm like, yeah, I followed the good in and I followed the good out. When it no longer felt good, I had to get out. And I think that, that's one way to look at it. You can also see like, don't ignore the bad, but if you're going to focus on the positive, it didn't feel good anymore.
Yeah. A red flag is a red flag, even if there's a lot of green flags around.
I love that. That's a
I just
great
made that
response.
The red
I
flag
love that.
Thank you.
Put that on a coffee mug. I love that.
Okay.
With red flags around it too.
Heck yeah. I'm going to get a tattoo of a red flag on my arm. Just kidding.
When you come to Vegas.
Okay.
Do you guys want to know something funny? At Grant Cardone's 10X, we waved around red flags. Anyway, that said 10X. But anyway, I just had a moment. Because I went to 10X. I don't know if there's time for this, but I went to 10X as part of Ray's ticket. I represented the Higdon group at 10X. And we were given these little flags to wave around and chant like 10X, 10X.
And of course they were red flags.
I just put that together. So there you go.
Love that. So
Julie,
Julie,
what
do you
about
want to answer JJ's question?
Instincts for sure, exactly what Jen said. And I'd also say specifically to people taking away from our experiences, particularly within RankMakers, is that you know how to work hard. You know how to be coachable in the good sense, and you know how to push through your comfort zone. So I would recommend to truly push out of your comfort zone is to listen to voices outside that are critical. There's a quote from Stephen Hassan that says, anything that is legitimate can bear scrutiny, and not just scrutiny once, but repeated scrutiny. Mm-hmm. So have the courage to listen to your instincts and marshal that incredible work ethic and powerful creativity that you have and passion for helping others to speak to people who have left the industry. Watch a video, anybody. It doesn't have to be any of ours. It could be somebody else. It doesn't matter. But have the courage to just go do that and just try to really empathize, not forcing your opinion. Empathize with them. That's what I have to say.
I love that.
And you are not alone. You are not alone.
Mm-hmm. Also, whatever company you're in, you can go to YouTube and you can search the name of your company and then anti-MLM. So, because I know sometimes we think that, well, it's just our company. Maybe it's a different company. And I think that's why a lot of people join multiple companies, speaking from personal experience. And I think that if you can understand, okay, this is happening in my company, but when you start to really consume anti-MLM content and you start putting the pieces together and seeing the similarities, you're going to realize on your own terms, in your own time, how much alike they're all the same. They all do, in my opinion, the same thing. So that would be my advice for anybody that's watching that's part of an MLM.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything I was gonna say everything makes you think you're siloed, and it's part of the cult behavior. I thought I was crazy, that I wasn't feeding my mind with enough positive things. And then I was already consuming Julie's content. And then a colleague who was also a coach of mine reached out and said, "Do you still like coaching? Because I fucking hate it." That was her text message to me. And she's very blunt, and I love her to death.
I love that.
And like, oh my God, I'm not alone. And so sometimes it might take you being the bold person or just holding space for the bold person, but you're definitely not alone.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was awesome. Y'all are awesome. Yeah. I wanted to mention to everyone watching, do the YouTube-y things to the video so that people can hear their story. Shout out to Emily Baker for that YouTube-y thing line.
Also, make sure that you go subscribe to Julie Anderson's YouTube channel. And then where do you guys want, if people want to connect with you two, Jennifer and Julie, where can they connect with you? And I'll make sure that we put it in our description of this video too, just so sometimes people just want to have like, a link or whatnot. But
I do most of my anti-MLM stuff on TikTok. So it's just Jennifer.Rajala, my last name, on TikTok. I'm just starting to come out on Facebook and Instagram. I'm only a month out. So if you go to my Instagram and you're like, that's why.
Yeah. It's a process.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My YouTube really does suck. It may improve, but I'm really big on TikTok, so I apologize. But I have a lot of tutorials up there about TikTok, so that might be beneficial to you. I'm big on TikTok. That's where I love. I spend most of my time there. It's Julie Anderson 426, and that's the same on Instagram. And I'm also on Facebook. It's just Julie Anderson. I don't really know, but I've been more vocal on Facebook. I did a 6-part story kind of thing that I did on TikTok. I don't have the feature to do 10-minute videos yet, but I do like the 3 minutes. So it ended up being 6 parts, and I posted that on Facebook. So yeah, TikTok is my primary, which is, you can see by the video, it's like TikTok. Jen has done an amazing job writing, coming out on Facebook. Her content, it's like almost like a blog format, and it's so helpful. I find it healing reading it. And just spelling things like it's fact-based, and it's helping you point out the resources for you to do your own research and come and make your own informed decisions. And I don't want to, but I want to shout you out that she even has a link where it has resources. So you can, like, these books that she recommends, and things that you can check out or not. But her account is worth it to check out and just see how she spells it out. It's coming from somebody who is very respected, who is at the top, of her company. And she does it in a way with real compassion and insight and thoughtfulness. So
amazing.
Thank you.
This was beautiful.
Yes, it was wonderful. Big breath. Really.
Incredible. I hope that you feel better. I hope that. What?
What'd you say? I didn't hear it.
Oh, sorry. I said I hope that they feel better. I hope that this is as healing for them as it is for hopefully other people that are watching this, because validation is really important in the healing journey, especially when you're getting out of MLM. So Hunter said we're proud of you all. We're proud of you guys. Yes. And if there's anything we can do, please don't hesitate to reach out. Even if, I know Julie sends me voice messages and she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sending you a bunch." I'm like, it's fine. Like,
because I said that to her.
Sometimes we just have to talk. We need to read it. We can't type it. We can say it faster than we can type it.
I literally FaceTime Erin instead of text her. I'm like, Erin, I'm just FaceTiming right now when I could have just texted her.
We're going to. Absolutely.
Face.
Yes. So thank you guys for being here. Yes. Thank everybody. Thank you guys for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please go follow Julie and Jennifer. Please go support them. Because yeah, this is a really powerful thing. And I hope that we can do more of these because this was a really powerful conversation.
Yes.
And
I mean,
JJ,
there's so many
amazing.
other ways we could go. I mean, we didn't even get into the reality show, and
Play to win.
I saw
We're gonna
some
have to get into
people
the reality
from
show
the
soon.
reality show watching, but we didn't even get into that. I think we
Yeah.
could do a part 2.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. I have to know about it. I have to know more.
I
about
have to know the details.
I'm
By the
literally
way,
like-
you guys that are watching, did you know that Ray Higdon had a reality show? Just let us know in the I'm just really quickly. I'm just curious.
Reality.
Reality show that he created and picked allegedly winners.
Right.
And you could
Didn't
view
pay
it
him
right
out or
now.
whatever.
Yeah, your viewers could Google it, like search for it now on Facebook. It's called Play to Win, and just type that in, Play to Win, RankMakers, Ray Higdon. It'll come up and they can watch. They'll find the links. They'll see the schmoogly marketing. They'll see how people, with some trigger warning here. I'm going to just say this trigger warning again. Abuse, human trafficking is marketed so people could view, and that's how that's exploited as well. So they could go ahead and start watching that on their own.
It's playtowin.tv. If you in your browser, if you just do playtowin.tv, it'll take you to topearner.com, which is his. You can see season 1 and season 2.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do a little binging, aren't I? It's gonna be fun.
You know what we should do is we should do a live and react to watching it live together.
That.
And then if you guys want to come back, we can, if you're up to it and if you're in a place where you can handle watching that, of course, then we can, if you want, we can maybe react
I
to that,
haven't
and then you guys
rewatched
can
it.
give some inside info on that.
Yeah.
Julie,
Okay.
did you ever watch it the first time?
I only watched season 1. Season 2, I was disgusted what was going on, but I still was like in. But season 1, I watched and I thought it was so amazing how like hardcore you break someone down, and then these people had these trauma bonds. You know, oh, I've got a vulnerability hangover. I'm like, this doesn't sound that what is this? You know?
Did they say that a vulnerability hangover?
Yes, people within RankMakers were commenting afterwards and bragging about the experience was so transformative. And there's nothing like a vulnerability hangover. Yes.
Oh my god, that gave me goosebumps. I'm not in a good
Yes.
way just now. I
Yes.
wish y'all could see. I don't know. Oh, you can't see. You can't see my goosebumps.
If I look hard, maybe.
That's because I'm so porcelain. It's fine.
Okay, well, I've
You
got to
watch-
go eat cake.
Oh.
My husband's making cake. I've got to go eat it.
All right. Thank
But let's
you,
talk in our
everybody, for
group
being
some
here.
Let's talk in our group chat. I got
Yes.
some more questions.
Thank
Y'all are
you for
amazing.
this.
Of course.
Oh, by the way, don't join an MLM. And also, go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't. I just
Yeah, don't join an MLM. If you're in
No.
RankMakers, we hope you get out.
Yes. Thank you, Julie and Jennifer. I mean, we literally can't say that enough. Like, thank you for being brave. Thank you for talking, and thank you for sharing your story and experience. And I guess we'll just see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.